union strong, union power, union strong. Sing out to make some noise.
I was relieved combined with a bit of indifference, just because at this point it's gone on so long, as well as we're heading into the holiday season, which is traditionally a very slow time for film and TV. And, it was kind of like, great, but I guess I'm working next year. At this point too, like a lot of the damage has kind of been done by the strike, and it's been such a this year is a wash for most of us. So it's nice to be able to move on, but it almost went on for so long. It was kind of, I don't want to say the new normal, but this was its own, hopefully its own year of strangeness.
Good morning. Good morning. Hello.
Things never really ramped up from the holiday season last year for a lot of people. And this whole year leading up to it, the winter and spring, I was taking everything I could because I knew that the faucet could turn off at any point. So I was just taking all the jobs I could, already kind of trying to put myself in like a bit of personal austerity in terms of spending. And by the time March rolled around and people would ask me, oh, do you think the writers are going to go on strike? And my response was kind of like, it doesn't matter at this point if they do or not, because the studios had already pushed all the shows to, at that point, they pushed them to September. A lot of things were already slowing down in a very major way. So even before the strike was called, I was already feeling the effects work-wise.
So it's understandable that this is a win. But, I think what this demonstrated to me is there's a business school term called, or known as, asymmetrical information. And that means when one side has more information than the other, things are kind of at odds. And, I teach a media and entertainment business class to students, and without getting into that, I remind them, we talk about artists the first week of class, and art as well. We begin and end with that. And I say to them, like, remember, artists come from either not completing high school or going through Juilliard, both of which don't really include a lot of business acumen. And it isn't to say anybody is ignorant here, but it is to say, when you think about power dynamics, very powerful JDs and MBAs running the studios, inherently you have that. You have that where these actors and actresses and creatives are at a disadvantage. There's no doubt about it. Do creatives need studios in the future? Because with AI and ML, if you were able to build your own stuff, and if we continue to see the glacial decline in butts and seats in movies, you're not going to have money for the next Avengers in another decade. It's kind of interesting. And so I wonder if this may very well raise and boost creatives' abilities to circumvent certain red tape. And they may find very well in the next 3 years that they can create quite incredible stuff on their own. I think following what Gen Z and Gen Alpha want to do, what they care about, is critical. They don't seem to care about Emmys or Oscars. Okay, well, that's a dig at Hollywood, regardless of these negotiations. Do they also care to go to the movie theater to see these big constructed movies? I don't know. Martin Scorsese would say, no, his movie can only be 3.5 hours, and so on and so forth. I don't know if young and up and coming directors, one, will want that, two, will have the cachet to demand that. like him or Quentin Tarantino does.